grade. Welcome back to music class. So today we're going to be doing another pretty advanced recorder song. So we're coming up at the second to last song that we're going to do for the school year. So this song we're going to work on is Amazing Grace. So before we get started, if you can print out your own copy from my class page on the school website, Amazing Grace is what we're working on. So we'll need that paper and a pencil before we start using our recorder. So here is our Amazing Grace music. And before we start, let's look at the things that we know already, that we've learned. So in this song, we have some breath marks. So we'll go through and circle those. We have 3 breath marks. And then we have some ties. So there's some long notes here. So this is going to be a long note. And then this at the end is going to be a long note. So we have 2 really long notes that we have to make sure that we get in nice big deep breaths so we can make those long. So some of the new things we're looking at this time are things like a single 8th note. So up until this point, we've only seen them together as TTs. So if you were to have just a T without another T, then you would put a flag on it, and that's worth half of a beat because a TT is 1 whole beat. So if we just took one of the TTs, just a T, we just have a note here with the little flag, and that is half of a beat. The next thing we have is a dotted quarter note. So we just have a quarter note and a dot after it. So when you have a dot on a note, that adds half the value of the note. So because a quarter note is 1 beat, the dot is adding half of that. So it makes it 1.5 beats. So this will be a longer note than a ta, but a little shorter than a 2. The next thing we learn about is this thing right here, which looks like a half circle with a dot in the middle. This is called a fermata. This is placed above a note, and that means that the note is held a little longer than usual. Sometimes in music, you'll see the fermata at the end of a song. It's very common, so that that last note is long, and it kind of adds a little bit of drama and excitement to the end of the piece by making that last note very long. So even this tied note would be 5 beats altogether. You might want to hold it out for maybe 7 beats even, or just however long you have left in your breath even. So you get to choose, since I'm not conducting you and you're on your own, you can choose how long you want this fermata note to be. The next thing we learn about is the time signature. So we know that the numbers here is the time signature. The top number is usually a 4, and that would mean that there's 4 beats per measure, but this has a 3. So that means there's 3 beats per measure. So we can see that this measure right here has a 2, and that's 2 beats. And we know a TT is 1 beat. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then on the next measure, we have a 2-beat note, 1, 2, and then a ta is 1 beat. So we have 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's how that works. One of the most challenging parts of the song that we're going to pay very close attention to is this part right in the middle, the I once was lost. And the reason that's probably going to be difficult is because it jumps to this high note and then has these short notes in there. So we see this new dotted rhythm here. I once was lost, and it goes by kind of fast. So we might want to pay close attention to just that part. And even before you play the whole song, maybe we could work on just playing this part slowly and then try to slowly speed it up. All right, so now that we've looked at all the new things that we learned for Amazing Grace, let's write in our letter names like we always do. And this first note is D. And then we have G, B, G, B, A, G, E, D. Oh, we have lots of different notes, not a lot of repeated notes in this. So this one is probably going to take a lot of practice. And we have a B here, A, and a very long held out high D. B to the high D, B, high D, and then B. So this part, ooh, we might want to practice going B, D, B, D, B to practice this part. B, D, B, D, B, and then down to a G. D, E, G, G, E, D, D, G, B, G, B, A, very long held out G at the end. All right, so if you need a little bit more time to write in those letters, go ahead and pause until you have written in all of your letters. So go ahead and pause it, and then once you have written in all your letters, come back to the video and we will continue. Okay, so now that we have all of our letter names written in, we will sing the song, and as you sing, I'd like you to point along on the beat, pointing to the notes and tapping the beat with your pencil or your finger. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Now we're going to sing on the letter names, and let's point to the letters as we sing them. D, G, B, G, B, A, G, E, D, D, G, B, G, B, A, D, B, D, B, D, B, G, D, E, G, G, E, D, D, G, B, G, B, A, G. And I really tried to take nice deep breaths at the breath marks. So when you practice, you should definitely practice taking nice big deep breaths where we have breath marks. All right, now we're going to get out our recorder, and before we start practicing the song, we're going to go over that part that I said would be challenging, is going from the B to the D. So as a reminder of the fingering for that, a B is where you cover the back hole with your thumb and you cover the top hole with your first finger. And then a D is where you cover the second hole and uncover the top hole, but then you also uncover the thumb hole. And that's what the high D looks like. So that little tough part goes like this. So that will be challenging. So B, D, B, D, B, G. That's gonna be challenging. So let's try that again, slowly, starting on B. Maybe even a little bit slower. So that'll be a challenging part. So I would go as slow as you need to, and then work your way up to a faster pace for that. Even I sometimes mess that part up, so definitely worth practicing that little part. That's going to be the hard part. So if you are ready to practice playing the song from the beginning, we will go ahead and do that slowly together. And a reminder of the fingering, it's going to start on D, that low D, and that's when we cover up the back hole, the top three, and the next bottom three. So we're covering 3, 3, and then the back hole. So I think I can even do better than that. So I'm going to practice again. And the reason why I think I can do better is because I kind of didn't connect my notes as much as I could. It was kind of choppy. It was kind of like, Amazing Grace. And we want it to be a more smooth song. Amazing Grace. Because that sounds much prettier. So I would keep practicing the song until it sounds nice and smooth and beautiful and elegant like that. So let's go ahead and try again together. Definitely is a very challenging song. I could even use some practice on it because it is very hard. So with that said, even though it is hard, I know you guys have made it this far, and I really think that you can do it with some practice. So definitely keep at it and keep practicing. Next week, I won't post the next video because that will be the very last one. And we can all definitely practice Amazing Grace more and go over those new rhythms and new time signature that we learned in this song. So Once we have brown belt down, song number 8, we'll move on to the very last song, which is the black belt song. So if you get to move on to that song, that is so great. But as usual, move at your own pace. There is no need to rush your progress. I would rather you spend time and do a really good job and really soak in and absorb the new concepts instead of rushing through things. So I hope you have a good time learning Amazing Grace and these new concepts in this song. And I will see you again next time, third graders. Bye.